So it's finally here, the Degen Trilogy Part 1 from Coinbase. And well, on YouTube it's got 1,437 views, not so impressive. But on Twitter it has 325,900 views, which is quite a performance. But alongside it, people like Kobe saying, "Ha! I'm gonna shoot myself in the head." Why is he saying such a thing? What did Coinbase get wrong? And what is going on with this film? I'm gonna watch the whole thing in real time, react to it like a filmmaker, because a filmmaker I am. But you're gonna have to wait after these messages. Hit it! Unlock the value of your NFTs without selling them. Liquid is a game-changing NFT marketplace that enables the lending and borrowing of blue-chip NFTs. The platform allows individuals to make their blue-chip NFTs liquid by borrowing against them directly. In turn, Liquid unlocks a peer-to-peer lending opportunity for crypto holders wanting to earn passive income on their capital, which will be backed by the value of the borrower's NFT. NFTs are here to stay, and now you can make the most of it by either lending your crypto out or by simply unlocking the liquidity of an NFT you already hold without selling it, freeing you up to buy the dip. So this was the big announcement back in April of this year. We are creating an interactive 3-part film featuring the Bored Ape, Yacht Club, and Apecoin communities. Come build it with us. Nobody really knew what this was going to be. This was Coinbase, I guess, marketing their NFT marketplace, which, as we know, has been somewhat of a flop. And this film has now been released. It's not interactive at all. It is a very fine piece of animation, but it really brings us to the point, which is making a film or making any piece of creative is about two things. It's about idea and execution. In this case, I would wager that the idea simply wasn't strong enough. The execution on the animation side, and we'll get to who actually did that, pretty good. On the writing side though, however, well, you'll see. So let's get into it. Let's watch it through. I'll stop at various points and we can dig into why this has got people kind of, well, let's just look at that. Who said what? Why are we getting top signals at 20K, said Eric Cryptoman. Justin Taylor says, am I the only one that doesn't get it? Aubrey Strobel says, did you lay off employees to fund the production of this? Actually, that's a good point to make because Coinbase, as we know, announced 1,100 layoffs just recently, 18% of its workforce. But take a guess how much this cost. Peter McCormack says, your agency must have been rubbing their hands when you bought this pitch. We'll get into that as well. But let's just get into the film and have a good old watch, shall we? All right, so it starts with this. It is, I mean, this is the kind of thing that you do when you're like 5 years old and you want to make it look like you're making a movie and you take the advisory guidance at the beginning of the film and change it. So they've changed it to probably nothing. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. So here we go.
A great man once said, I wouldn't want to belong to any club that would have me as a member. But I'm not that man, and this is not that kind of club.
Okay, so first things first, voiceover, exposition. When you're writing for the screen, oftentimes screenwriting coaches will tell you not to use voiceover because it's a cheap trick. It's an easy way to deliver exposition, and it should be possible 99% of the time to show what you're talking about without having to say what you're talking about. So all of this backstory, all of this stuff, it's just fluff. Do you need it? No. But it's always a bad sign when you start with it because you kind of know what kind of film you're watching, and also it's trying to anchor you in the sense of other films. It's pastiching other films, and already that's a bad sign. Why not just make something original? Web3 is about doing things differently, but here we are pastiching stuff that feels very familiar, that feels very rote, and it's like, oh yeah, I've seen this before.
I was just another Saturday night, beating the daylight out of some second-rate hack in a third-rate dive.
Second-rate hack in a third-rate dive.
I know what you must be thinking, but those student loans don't pay themselves.
I'm sorry, what? Student loans? Student loans? Look at him. This guy came straight off the street. He went to the University of Life. He ain't got no student loans to pay. And that's just the weirdest thing. The stakes, when you set up, oh, I've got student loans to repay. What has that got to do with an underground boxing club? That doesn't make sense. Think about what's happened in the last 2 years. We had the pandemic. We've had crunch inflation. We've had a war in Ukraine. So many other stakes you could have set up. But student loans, this guy with a cigar in his mouth, I mean, come on. It feels like it was written for a different character, or they just never went back and looked at the script again. It makes no sense at all.
So I fight who they pay me to fight.
And then there's Apecoin bit. Now we know Apecoin's important, but like, it just feels like it belongs in a different world and it's been transposed on top of this. And that's the other thing about apes. This is Bored Ape related, but these guys are not Bored Apes. These are degens, as we'll find out in this Web3 joust. But when you put Bored Apes into 3D and you create environments around them, they kind of feel out of place. They feel like they don't belong, and that's exactly what you get here. This Apecoin just feels completely out of place. It feels like it doesn't belong there. They could have stylized the token or something. I don't know. It just feels, it feels like it just jars. It had to be shoehorned in there, which is weird because when you look at this, you look at the animation, the style, it's pretty cool. The lighting's great. It looks really good. Apecoin is key. Again,
today's episode is surely gonna be fire. Economist Professor
more
Gary Rifkin.
exposition. Okay. So, all this animation stuff is really nice. These text effects, they're kind of off the shelf, if I'm honest. And the VHS look, again, it's a filter. It's pretty easy to do. This is the bit that I'm really interested in. An Invisible North, Partisan, and Icelandic Pony Company production. Partisan, if you didn't know, amazing. They're the ones that I think are responsible for all the production, the animation, everything else, and making that run on time and under budget. And Partisan discovered Michel Gondry. And if you don't know who Michel Gondry is, then shame on you, but one of probably the best, greatest, finest music video director of all time. Partisan, amazing. Invisible North, though. This is Invisible North, the principal direction when taking action towards connection and new frontiers. Creativity optimized for the advent of a new connected world. We're all in Circle. So they've done FTX and Coachella, they've done Algorand, Earth Day Takeover, and some Ledger experiences. So they do digital activations for Web3 brands, by the looks of it. So obviously, that's why they've been hired to do this. They've got a Web3 tab here. We are a team of Web3 fluent strategists, creators, designers, and producers pushing the limits of possibility. We bring creativity optimized for the advent of a new connected world. I'm sorry, but nothing that's in this film tells me that. It just doesn't. And if you are that fluent, then I don't think you would have approved the script that we're about to hear.
Sir Gary
Oh yeah, Icelandic Pony Company, couldn't find them. No idea who they are.
Rifkin. What's the Web3 Alpha, Professor?
Right on, Bo. For your new listeners, Web 2 is all about control.
Uh-huh. Social media, government.
Exactly. Now we're on the leading edge of Web 3.
So more exposition. If you don't know, Web 2 is blah, 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 blah. We're still leaning into that narrative. It's just like, give me all the list of things that we need to talk about. Web 2, Web 3, I mean, our audience won't know this. They won't know this. And then there's a Lambo.
We're talking decentralized.
Okay, so here are some apes. Okay, so here are the apes that are appearing in the film. This is the cast list. Bimbo, Baloo, Chico B, Carol, Japes Board, Alpha, Trip Summers. These are the ones that were selected. These are the ones whose IP has been licensed through feature. And let's see what happens next.
Economics, empowered trade, shared value and community, digital.
So this slide really interests me because Todd Williams, Purna Jagannathan, Nat Faxon, Kimiko Glenn, Nesta Cooper, pretty well-known actors from TV. Sonequa Martin-Green is the star of Star Trek Discovery. She's a big deal. She's a great actress. What is she doing here? Clearly, Partisan were able to ring in some pretty sophisticated talent to be the voices, but yeah, let's let it go.
Coin will be key.
Yes, your book has it all. I give it 5 bananas. Now, tell our audience about what we really want to know. You were a part of this event.
A contest. Yeah, a Web3 joust. And it started when I'm
A Web3 jazz, so it's a contest. Oh yeah, so this is Enter the Dragon all over again. I mean, like I said, it was a pastiche, it really is a pastiche. Every single martial arts movie with some kind of tournament contest, that's this. Not necessarily a bad thing, This idea of being in a fight with your mate, okay, I get that, yeah. But I mean, yeah. And this whole bit of exposition over the top is literally there just so they can put the titles on top. This is so unnecessary. In this day and age, like, why do you think Netflix like literally reduces title sequences to barely anything and lets you skip them? Nobody wants to watch this.
Met 4 other degens.
Degenerates. Ooh, our Web3 martyrs.
Degens are Web3 builders.
So you were pitted.
Web3 martyrs? No, degens are Web3 builders. No, I wouldn't say that they are. They're not. Who wrote this? We're about to find out.
Against one another for what? To stay.
It's written by Susanna Fogel and Steele Nevenson. Susanna Fogel. Here is Susanna Fogel. She wrote The Spy Who Dumped Me, which actually wasn't a terrible movie, in my opinion. And The Flight Attendant, which I think is kind of cool. And she's a screenwriter, a real, genuine screenwriter, who I think was given a really duff brief, honestly. Like, taking these Web3 buzzwords and just mashing them together and making it cool, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Anyone who's not in this space will just think you're an idiot, and anyone who's in this space will think you're an absolute dickhead. And Steele Nevenson, if that's really Neil Stevenson, oh. Okay, let's let it play.
Stake your claim in the metaverse?
For coin, mama. More coin means no FUD. You can build...
More coin means more FUD. It's just like, the actor who spoke this clearly has no clue. No clue. I mean, come on. So, hat tip to Laura and Indovina here, who directed this. The direction on this, I have to say, is spectacular. The little bits and pieces, the little stops and starts, the way it transitions from one style of animation to another, I think she did a great job. Genuinely did a great job. That side of it, that part of the execution, it's fantastic.
Bigger and more complex, a way out of Web 2. Each one of us...
Okay, so we're a minute and 50 seconds in, and we actually haven't done anything yet. We've just been told a bunch of stuff with some shit radio. Obviously, this is harking back to Grand Theft Auto as well, and how you get exposition over the radio, but it's just so not necessary for this. It's not necessary. I wonder what the brief was to the creatives here. We need to educate people in what Web3 is. What? No, no.
Us degens believe what we were building was key. Our mistake.
Let's be honest.
Okay, so we get some more characters here.
Priya, money came easy to her. Trust did not.
Thank you for joining us on this very...
I always pick up when the phone rings.
She's always had to do everything herself. Makes her unstoppable. Some are driven. Others are drivers.
3 years in Alaska flying the F-15C before I got my...
Yeah, so we've got a kind of cast of characters that is admirably diverse, because this represents everything. That's a punk, there's an Apecoin. And what's she gonna do? Oh, she's gonna jump out of a plane. Okay. Because this is what degens are. This guy looks like a
It
degen.
wasn't just about the SATs, Ethan. I'm not just a tutor. Think of me as a guide. I have a whole personal ethos. I call it the Tao of Ryan.
That's Nat Faxon.
Ryan, his own star pupil.
Never mind, gotta go.
You might see him from Loot on Apple TV. Okay, here we go. Different animation style. This is fun. This stuff is great. Like the shots, the style, the way it's put together, it's really nice. And this little moment, this little freeze here. But like, it's just a bunch of cliches and a bunch of so obvious. Where are the interesting characters here? And then finally we see an ape. So they rendered the ape as 2D animation, which I think is a good idea, because every time I see 3D apes, they just look idiotic and stupid. I think if you really kind of want to make apes look good, you've got to keep them as 2D. The 3D just always looks weird for some reason. So there's a vial. Okay, so we have some lore here, because that's clearly connected to the other side. It's playing into the Apecoin lore. Some blue fluid, and then this happens.
Hold up. A bottle of sewer sludge randomly appears at your feet, and your instinct is, fuck it, I'm thirsty?
To us, it was our red pill moment. A chance to actualize our fears and crush them.
Okay.
Oh, see that bit there? This was our red pill moment, a chance to actualize our fears and crush them. You don't need to say that. You do not need to say that. That is bad writing. Cut it out. If anybody with a brain and had some screenwriting experience saw that in the script, it would just get cut. The great thing about animation is you can cut this stuff at any time. Now, the other problem with VO, particularly when you're writing it for animation, is you tend to rewrite it again and again and again and again and again. And you test these things again and again and again and again and again. You don't need to say this. This is the message. This is the theme of the film. It's there on the screen. Let the visuals do the work.
Hey, Neo. So, just how far did that rabbit hole go?
When resources are short, you better have fast reflexes. When opportunity knocks, you better be ready. You can fight your way to the head of the pack, but you better mind what pack you run with. There's only one winner of a zero-sum game.
Okay, so now there's an ape just kind of randomly appearing. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. We've got some 3D stuff combined with some 2D stuff, although that probably is 3D stuff behind there. But again, the voiceover just doesn't need to be there. Leave some room for the viewer to make up their own interpretation of what's going on. They'll figure it out. They're smarter than you think. Oh, damn, he's got diamond teeth. And what's your instant reaction to that? Just like, no. I mean, it just feels so out of place, just so wrong. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the point.
NGMI nerds.
I'm more fit than I look.
NGMI nerds. Like, all of this stuff transposed into a broader pop culture context, it just feels weird. Like, Web3 stuff in the Web3 context, in Telegram, Discord, 4chan, barely gets away with it. Like, you put it here, This is cool though. Like I said, the way the animation drifts between different styles and has this kind of trippy effect, it's cool. Now we're getting somewhere interesting.
Yeah, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing it for you. How about some stocks? We got some really good options.
Going dark.
Yeah, I actually started my own coin. It's called Blessed with a T.
Of course you're scared of the dark.
Hey, wanna buy some ETFs?
So this is weird. We've suddenly picked up pace. We're running through. We've gone into a montage, and we saw an upside-down world that was all the way back here, which is kind of fun. I like the trippy stuff, but like, what's going on? Like, this is fun, this Isha stuff, but again, it's fairly derivative, right? We've seen Stranger Things, bit kind of Inception, but okay.
How about some stocks? We got some really good options.
Going dark.
Yeah, I actually started my own coin. It's called Blessed with a T.
The thing is, we don't really know why they're here, what they're
Of
doing.
course you're scared of the dark.
Hey, wanna buy some ETFs?
Oh, shit.
Oh wait, we got zombies. 2D zombies.
What are they?
Oh, that's over.
Zombies. Sounds hot.
What can I say? It was a middleman orgy.
This seems like a good place to take a break.
Okay, so like I said, from execution level, the animation is really great. There's some really nice moments in it. I think it's well directed. The concept, it's derivative. Voiceover, horrible. The dialogue, terrible. Characterization, on the nose. And the use of the Web3 colloquialisms, yeah, it just makes me want to barf. When I first watched this, all I was really looking at was the production value, because I was expecting this to be terrible. I think it's telling that the apes barely feature in it at all, that they focused on degens, but these degens really feel like a kind of just tick all the boxes selection of humans that doesn't represent Web3 in any way, shape, or form. And I really have to wonder what on earth they were trying to say with it. Now, I wonder if you can guess how much you think this might have cost. I don't know, but my guess is it's well north of $1 million at least for the entire thing with the concept, the speed that they had to put it out, the animation, everything else. There's no one that's going to be touching this unless those are the kind of numbers you're talking about. And then the context of this, where they've laid off all these employees, Does that seem like a good investment? I don't know. What I will say is this. This film has 1,437 views on YouTube. Do us a favor, and let's get this video where we talk about their video way past that. I'll leave you there. This was sort of good and also sort of terrible. But anyway, we'll pick it up for the next one and see if we can find anything better on it, but you never know. They might surprise us. Interactive? No. Featuring apes? Barely. Is it a Bored Ape film? Probably shouldn't have been. And that's where I shall end. See you on the next one. Peace!